Your dog is out cold. Then the paws start moving, paddling like it's chasing something. The whiskers twitch. A little muffled woof slips out. If you didn't know better, you'd think something was wrong. Nothing's wrong. Your dog is dreaming. And here's the part that gets me. Scientists have actually worked out not just that dogs dream, but a pretty good idea of what they dream about. It's going to change how you watch your dog sleep. So stick with me. We'll cover how we know they dream, why they twitch, what's playing behind those closed eyes, and one thing every owner should know. Let's start with the obvious question. Do dogs really dream, or are we just soft-hearted humans reading too much into a twitch? The science says they dream, and it's not a stretch. When you record the brain of a sleeping dog, it looks a lot like a sleeping human's. Dogs move through the same sleep stages we do. There's deep, slow-wave sleep, the heavy, restful kind. And then there's REM, rapid eye movement, the stage where people do most of their vivid dreaming. You can even watch a dog enter it. The breathing goes shallow and uneven. The eyes flick back and forth under the lids like the dog is following something on a screen. The muscles start to twitch. If you very gently lifted an eyelid, which honestly you shouldn't, you'd see the eyeball itself rolling around, tracking a scene only the dog can see. Dr. Stanley Coren, a psychologist who wrote a whole book called Do Dogs Dream, says the average dog reaches its first dream about 20 minutes after nodding off. One more number worth knowing. Dogs spend only about 10 to 12% of their sleep in REM. We humans spend closer to 20 or 25. So a dog needs a lot of total sleep to get its share of dreaming. So, same brain, same stages, same signs. They dream. The surprising part is how long those dreams run, and that depends on something you'd never guess. Once the dog drops into that first dream, around 20 minutes in, it usually only lasts 2 or 3 minutes. Short, but a lot can happen in there. Now here's the fact people love, and it comes down to your dog's size. Coren found that size changes both how often a dog dreams and how long each dream lasts. Small dogs have short dreams, but a lot of them. A little Chihuahua might start a brand new dream roughly every 10 minutes. Big dogs are the reverse. They dream less often, but each one runs longer. A large breed like a golden retriever might only kick off a new dream about every 90 minutes, and then stay in it a good while. So the tiny dog snoozing on your lap is probably flicking through one dream after another, while the big one sprawled on the floor is having fewer dreams, but longer ones. And you can actually learn to read which stage your dog is in. In deep, dreamless sleep, a dog lies still and breathes slow and steady. When it shifts into a dream, you'll see the change. The breathing turns quick and uneven, the eyes start moving under the lids, and the paws and face begin to twitch. Next time your dog is asleep, watch for that switch. You're watching a dream begin, which raises a fair question. How could anyone possibly prove that a sleeping animal is dreaming at all? The answer came from an animal nobody expected. The study that really settled it was done on rats. In 2001, at MIT, 2 researchers named Matthew Wilson and Kenway Louie ran a clever experiment. First, they recorded the brains of rats while the rats learned a maze. And the patterns were so clean that the scientists could look at the brain activity alone and tell you where in the maze the rat was. Turning left, going straight, hitting a dead end. All of it readable in the brain. Then they recorded the same rats asleep. And during REM, those exact patterns played again. Same order. And here's the kicker, at the same speed as the real thing. The rats were running the maze again in their sleep. Out of the dozens of dreams they recorded, around 20 of them matched a maze run so closely it was basically an exact replay. The scientists could even tell which part of the maze the rat was in. The next year, the same team found the brain echoing the day in non-REM sleep too. But there it was faster and more jumbled, less like a real-time movie. A bit like the vague, forgettable background dreams we get in lighter sleep. That was a big deal. It was the first hard evidence that animals don't just sleep. They replay their day. Think about what that really means. Your dog isn't a simple creature that just switches off at night. It has an inner life. Memories it goes back and visits, the same way you do. And dogs have the same brain parts and the same sleep stages as those rats. So the conclusion is hard to argue with. Your dog dreams, and it's most likely dreaming about the stuff it did today. Which brings up the thing everyone wonders. If it's running in the dream, why doesn't it get up and run? Good question. If your dog is chasing a rabbit in its head, why does it stay put on its bed instead of tearing across the room? You can thank a small piece of the brainstem called the pons. During REM, the pons works like an off switch for the big muscles. It sends a signal that relaxes them, almost paralyzes them, just for a bit. Scientists call it REM atonia. The whole point is to stop animals from acting out their dreams and hurting themselves. It's the same system that keeps you from actually sprinting when you dream you're being chased. But in dogs, that off switch is a little leaky. It doesn't catch every signal. So the motor part of the brain is busy acting out the dream. A few of those movement commands slip past the pons, and that's your paddling, twitching, and woofing. Here's the telling detail. The pons isn't fully developed in puppies, and it starts wearing down in old dogs. So puppies and senior dogs twitch and paddle the most because their off switch is the leakiest of all. On top of that, they spend more of their sleep in REM to begin with. It works the same way in very young and very old people. And when this system goes wrong in people, you get sleepwalking, or a condition where someone physically acts out their dreams. So that leaky off switch in your twitching dog is running the exact same machinery as yours. So the body is running the dream. But what's the dream actually about? This is what everyone's really here for. What is my dog dreaming about? We can't shake them awake and ask. But there's a back door and it goes right back to that off switch. In the 1960s, a neuroscientist named Mitchell Juvitt studied cats whose pons had been switched off, so the safety brake was gone. And while sound asleep, those cats acted their dreams out. They lifted their heads, stalked, pounced, swiped at prey that wasn't there. They were dreaming about being cats, doing cat things. Dogs do the same kind of thing. The way Corin puts it, dogs dream doggy things, the stuff that fills their days. He even thinks the breed shapes it. A pointer might dream about catching a scent and freezing on point. A border collie might dream about herding. A retriever might dream about splashing into water. Now put that next to the replay studies and you get a lovely picture. Your dog is probably dreaming about its day, the walk, the squirrel it never caught, the game of fetch, and very likely about you. Maybe the moment you walked through the door and it lost its mind with joy. Maybe just sitting next to you on the couch. A Harvard dream researcher named Deirdre Barrett has said that since dogs are so wrapped up in their people, they're probably dreaming about our faces and our voices, about pleasing us, even about annoying us. Sit with that for a second. The one you love most may spend its nights dreaming about the one it loves most, which is you. But not every dream is a good one, and that's worth talking about. If dogs can have happy dreams, can they have bad ones too? Probably, yes. Most experts think the bulk of a dog's dreams are pretty ordinary, just replays of a normal day, nothing frightening. But dogs can almost certainly have unpleasant dreams, the dog version of a nightmare. And it makes sense that a dog who's anxious or who's been through something rough in the past might have them a bit more often. You might notice soft whimpering, little distressed movements, twitching that looks more agitated than playful, maybe a small cry. But here's the reassuring part, and it matters. It almost always passes in a few seconds and the dog wakes up completely fine, right back in its safe, comfortable home with the people it loves. If your dog seems to have bad dreams a lot, the fix usually isn't about the sleep itself. It's about the day. A calmer, more predictable routine, more exercise, and less stress while awake tend to show up as more peaceful sleep. And never scold a dog for a rough night. It has no idea it happened. And that leads straight into the most useful thing you can take away from this whole video. Before that, one reason all this dreaming actually matters. It's not just a cute show. Remember, the MIT rat study came out of a lab focused on learning and memory. That's not a coincidence. Scientists think one of sleep's main jobs, and REM's in particular, is locking in memories. The brain replays what it learned that day and files it away for keeps. So when your dog replays that training session or that new park, its brain might literally be saving the lesson. That helps explain why puppies sleep and dream so much, sometimes 18 to 20 hours a day. They're learning about the entire world at full speed, and all that sleep is part of building the brain to hold it. You've probably seen it. A puppy has a huge day full of new people and places and training, and then it crashes into a deep, twitchy sleep. That's the little brain sorting and saving everything it just took in. And there's a real lesson in it for you. Your dog's sleep is doing important work. A typical adult dog needs somewhere around 12 to 14 hours a day. So giving your dog a quiet place to rest isn't spoiling it. It's good for its body, its mood, and its memory. Cut that sleep short again and again, and you can see it in a dog. A poorly rested dog is often crankier, more reactive, and slower to learn. That matters most for puppies in training and for older dogs. In fact, if a senior dog's sleep suddenly flips around, pacing or restless at night and sleeping all day, that's worth a mention to your vet, because it can be an early sign of aging in the brain. Which brings us to the golden rule. So what should you actually do when you catch your dog mid-dream? Follow the old rule. Let sleeping dogs lie. I know how hard that is. When your dog looks like it's having a bad dream, every instinct tells you to reach over and comfort it. Try not to. Don't wake it suddenly. Here's why. A dog yanked out of deep sleep can wake up startled and confused. For a second, it doesn't know where it is. And on pure reflex, a startled dog can snap or nip before its brain catches up. It's not being bad. It's just instinct. If you really have to wake your dog, do it softly. Use a calm voice from a little distance, not a hand. And day to day, you can help your dog sleep well by giving it one steady, cozy, quiet spot, away from heavy foot traffic and sudden noise. A little sanctuary where deep sleep can actually happen. If you have kids, this is a great one to teach them literally. When the dog is sleeping, we leave it alone. A lot of dog bites to children happen around a startled, sleeping dog, and it's almost always avoidable. One safety note to finish, because knowing this protects your dog. Normal dream twitching is gentle and brief, and your dog wakes up easily and acts totally normal. And to be clear, a little twitching, paddling, and soft woofing is completely normal and healthy. It's a sign of good, deep, dream-rich sleep. You don't need to worry about it at all. A seizure is different, and it's worth knowing the difference. In a seizure, the body usually goes stiff, or paddles hard and fast in a rigid, rhythmic way. It lasts longer. You usually can't wake the dog out of it. And afterward, the dog may seem dazed, drool a lot, or lose control of its bladder. If you ever see that, not soft twitching, but that, try to film a short clip and call your vet. This is general awareness, not a replacement for a vet's advice. But knowing that difference is part of taking care of your dog. So tonight, when the paws start paddling and that little woof slips out, you'll know exactly what's going on behind those flickering eyes. The dog's brain is doing the same thing yours does. Replaying the day, sorting the memories, living the good bits again with the people it loves most. Your dog is dreaming, and somewhere in there, odds are good it's running right back to you. If you want to keep figuring out what your dog is really telling you, backed by real science, subscribe. Every week we decode another behavior, so you can understand your best friend a little better, awake and asleep. See you in the next one.